Wow, so you got the rooster crowing, you're working with the chickens. So how do you then turn it over into Acro-Rats you started with?
Well, I started with the rats. The rats were first. So after I met Modesesso, I had an idea that when I moved to Chicago, at this point I've had rats since I was 16. So
okay.
I knew
you've been a rat owner. You've had them. Yeah.
I knew how smart they were. I knew how just one of the most trainable, smart animals ever. And they're also misunderstood. So I've always been drawn to those kind of social rejects of the animal world, the rats,
the
underdogs.
Snakes,
the underdogs, exactly, the underdogs. But because the rats are just misunderstood, but they're such wonderful pets, and I turned so many people into rat lovers. I convinced parents to get your child a rat, not a hamster. They're just misunderstood. It's just the name, but they're the best. They won't ever bite your child. You can teach them names. You can teach them tricks. They are affectionate. They're the best pet that you can buy for a child. But so I turned a lot of people into rat lovers.
Well, one of my first jobs was selling hamsters when I was growing up. We used to sell them outside of raves and concerts, and I grew up in a hamster breeding area, and so you'd see a lot of Rodentia, small ground game. The Roborovskis were the ones that were sold then. I don't know if you're familiar with that strand of them. But that was kind of the popular strand of hamp that was going on in our area. Bring it up, the Roborovskis, if you can there, Ben. If you don't mind. Yeah, this is the dwarf hamsters. These are a lot of what we were peddling back in the day.
Oh, yeah. No, I had hamsters growing up, too.
Beautiful. And a lot of that market went to Russia eventually, or they started getting these Russian imported hamsters. And that, for a while, that killed a lot of they started getting more like the small white red-eyed hamsters. Still cute, but not what a lot of kids were looking for, really. And that really, I think a lot had to do with a lot of that Stephen King kind of when that kind of stuff took off. But so you really were like a mother to a lot of these rats.
Oh yeah, I mean I hand raised them all. And
do you ever get any issues with the actual mother of the rats? Was there ever any moments where you had to be let them know that it was a shared territory, or that you were just there to help?
I mean, I didn't take the rats away from their mother prematurely, but as soon as they were weaned, I mean, the mom rat isn't really these are my children, I want to take care of them.
Oh, she's not.
Yeah, no, they're just go. I'm tired of you all. So, once they're weaned, then I would start to, I'd carry them around in my pocket, or, on my shoulder, maybe in my hair, I carry them around everywhere.
That's beautiful.
So that they were, part of me, and they were very comfortable to be held and to be on me. They'd be on, my shoulder. They'd go to someone else's shoulder, back to my shoulder. They're, very personable. They've got such great personalities. They're just misunderstood. So
yeah, what's so misunderstood about them, do you feel like?
Well, they just have a bad reputation.
How did they get it, though?
Well, I mean,
they started it.
Yeah, they did. But I mean, the plague, the
bubonic plague didn't help.
The plague, that didn't help. And then, of course, they always play villains in the movies. So the Willard, the Ben and the Willard movies.
Chuck E. Cheese, they tried to bring them back and give them a little bit. That was kind of some good PR, I feel like.
Well, yeah, but it's still just that we're rat.
Ratatouille helped some.
Yeah, that definitely did help some, and people are definitely. I mean, there's rat fanciers. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of rat ladies out there now. Oh,
I'm a damn rat king. I mean, our tour is Return of the Rat tour.
Yeah. Oh.
That's our stand-up comedy tour. Is the Return of the Rat tour.
So I started putting. I was like, I bet you I could put a little show together. I'm going to teach these rats to do tricks. And I'm going to, put a little show together that'll get some attention to these rats. Mm-hmm. And then maybe I'll get that big, break that I wanted. So I was working at a pet shop at the time.
And where, in Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago. Okay. And at that point, I had my little rat show trained up.
Oh, and perfect. So you got the rats, they're performing now.
But yeah, they're performing in nightclubs and things like that.
Okay, now, so that sounds like, I would love to see that. And it's something that's important. The rats are performing in nightclubs with you as the trainer.
Yes.
They're not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So with you as the trainer, the rats are performing in nightclubs, and you guys are, how many rats are in the show?
Oh, there's probably, maybe six or seven rats, and they climb up ladders, they jump through hoops, they'd even bowl. But the best trick was they would run, they'd drive up in an ambulance, and then they would go up a fire truck into a burning little kid's house with fake flames, of course, and there'd be a doll in the house. So the rats would go up the ladder, rescue the doll, come back down, and put it into the ambulance.
No way.
Yeah, so they were so much fun to teach and work with, and people were just amazed that these rats are doing these amazing tricks. So they're the amazing Acro-Rats, and I had little business cards made up that said, "The Rat Company, trained Acro-Rats for all occasions, film, television, live shows." And I told everybody at work that someday somebody's going to walk in that door and they're going to need a rat for a movie, and I'm going to be ready for them, right?
Wow.
Right? So
that was a lot of your ambition. So you'd seen Mo DeCesso have this, you'd seen that documentary, and then it had an effect on you. And then next, you end up out there, you end up getting to work with him. So now you really feel like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the rat show going in Chicago.
Yeah, yes.
And you're performing where? You're performing after hours in the pet shop?
Yeah, no, I'm not in the pet store, but I'm like after hours in nightclubs.
Okay.
I was taking the rats, and they'd hire me to bring the rats in, or actually, I don't even know if I got really hired or so. Maybe it was just kind of a pass the hat kind of thing. Because, any opportunity I had to train these rats.
Yeah. But how do you
I
even approach that? Because in the beginning, if you say, hey, I'm going to come in later, I'm going to bring in a couple rats, I think people are going to be like, I don't know. Or people are like, how do you have that initial conversation with some of the performance venues and stuff?
Well, it was Chicago. Chicago was very, kind of open-minded. They liked anything, interesting and different.
Yeah.
And I had my roommate had connections with certain nightclubs at that point. So she hooked me up with some of the nightclub people, and then word spread that there's Rat Lady.
But who comes to the show? Is it just people that are at the nightclub that it's already staged performance at the nightclub, and it's like, now we're going to have the Acro-Rat?
Yeah, now the Acro-Rats are going to perform. We're going to do a couple shows, and it was just fun. It was basically, I'm just trying to get attention to these rats, hoping that I'm going to get this break at some point so that I can get to the next level.
Okay. And so how does that start to happen? Do you get a break?
The big break came in when I was when I was working at the pet store.
Okay.
Waiting with my little business card, the Rat Company. I named my company the Rat Company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trained rats for all occasions, film, television, live shows, waiting for that moment, that big break. And these two guys walk into this pet store and they're like, we need a rat. We need a couple rats for a film. And I'm like, I got your rats. They can even answer a toy telephone. I'll do it for free just for the movie credit. So I got the job because my price was great. Mm-hmm. and because my boss was kind of a dream squasher. And with the movie industry, they don't give you a lot of notice. They call me on a Friday. They say, okay, your day's on Monday.
That's showbiz, yeah.
Yep. So I asked for the day off, and they said, nope, sorry. And so then I quit my job. I quit my full-time job for a one-day non-paying film shoot with rats. And it was my big break.
It was.
It was. I mean, everything happened after that. WGN showed up.
Okay, so hold on. So you get the break, you go to the set, you do the shoot with the rats, and how did they pull it off?
Oh, the rats did perfectly. I went out to I went out there the day before with approximate location. I rehearsed them, so I kind of knew what So they were patterned.
Do you pep talk them on the way in, like, look, guys, this is it? Like, do you feel like you have that, you can create that ambiance with them that you guys are?
Oh yeah. We're just. Wow. I mean, there's like it's really hard
like
to
that Phil Jackson kind of with them,
There's just like it's like almost like an electric field. So especially when you're working on a set with an animal, and you can't be right next to them. So you've done your training, you've done your prep with the rat or any animal, right? And now you're off camera, and you have to send in the rat or whatever animal it is to do what you've trained them to do, and you can't be next to them. Yeah. So there's this like electric feel, like a communication going where
God, yeah,
just like you've got this, do that, and it when it comes together, and it's such a magical moment when they just pull it off. And I mean the whole crew applauds. I mean, they were just, everybody was just amazed that this happened, right? And then a film crew showed up, a news crew, because they heard that there was going to be a rat lady, on the movie set.
Yeah.
So they coined me the Rat Lady of Chicago.
Oh, God, beautiful.
Yeah. So then CNN picked it up and broadcast this, all over the country. And next thing you know, I'm flying to Italy to be on this show, the Mino D'Amato show, on Christmas Eve with my trained rats. And it just snowballed from there. I mean.
So you flew over there for Christmas Eve to be on an Italian television show.
Yes.
And how many rats do you have with you?
I had about 6 rats with me.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
do you remember any of the names? Do you remember any of the?
Oh, probably the Jasper and Ramsey and Cicero. And I named a lot of them. Started naming them after streets in Chicago. So I had Cicero and Harlem, and Jasper and Ramsey came later on. But yeah, so a lot of them were Chicago streets. So
Gunshot would be one of them.
Yeah. Gunshot.
Gunshot's a cute name, actually. Wow. So you have these rats and you guys are over there. Do you remember that? Was it Christmas Eve? What was it? Yeah,
it was Christmas Eve, and it's a show called the Mino D'Amato Show. And they didn't give me an earpiece for translation. So the guy's like, blah, blah. And I'm like,
no way. You just
like, don't know what you're saying.
You're just sitting there, and the guy is speaking what?
I'm in Italy, so
he's speaking Italian.
Yeah, he's speaking Italian. Wow. I don't know any Italian. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. When he realized that I didn't know. I didn't know I didn't have my earpiece. So then he translated. Luckily, he knew Italian and English. So then he would repeat the question in English, and then I would answer, and then he would translate it back. Wow. So it was saved. But there was a deer in the headlights moment of like, oh no.
Because you're also a very attractive woman, and was there ever any of these guys trying to like hit on you? Was there like a lot of love interest going on?
Surprisingly, I did really well. And, it is, in spite of being the rat lady and having rats crawling all over me, much better than the cat thing, or the cat thing was a real game killer. but as the rat lady, I mean, I did get, I did have a lot. I mean, I had stalkers.
Oh, really?
It was crazy. I had a guy show up in a limo outside my house.
A rich stalker?
Yeah. He was young. He was very young, and apparently he had money, and he'd been, just kind of an adoring fan and wanted to take me for a limo ride. And I'm like, well, I don't really know you.
But you got to go, huh?
I sat and had a drink with him in the limo. So I'm like, I got to let you drive off with me in this limo. But I'll sit down here with you for a bit. Because, I mean, after the whole, WGN, Chicago Very Own, Rat Lady, and then CNN, and then the flying out to Italy, then things just like snowballed. I was like on all the big talk shows, and Geraldo, and Pauly Shore. He had that series back then. Yeah.
Oh, Pauly's World? Was it?
Yeah, it was a 2-part episode where I lock him in the room overnight with all the rats.
Really?
Yeah.
Pauly, was Pauly flirting with you? He likes the ladies.
If he was, I wasn't picking up on it because I really wasn't even familiar with him. I didn't even know who this guy was. I'm like, what's this weasel thing he keeps talking about?
Yeah, because the weasel and the rats, that's really.
Yeah,
that's the same marsupials, I think.
they're weasels. Well, it's
Rodentia.
I don't think weasels are rodents. They're weasels are more the ferret group, and rats and are rodents. So I don't think the weasels and rats are really related, but they might be enemies. Per se.
Yeah, I can see that. Mm-hmm. So things really start going. The rat game is good. You're out there, and what's the show? How long is the show with the rats?
Oh, the show's like maybe 10, 12, 15 minutes or so.
Oh my God, so you're crushing it. And are people paying you good money to come and perform?
No, not really. I mean, it was just. I mean, it was decent money then. It also was a nightclub. I got free drinks. So, and then whatever tips I might get, they might pay me a nominal fee. Because I also, at that point, I had, other animals. I had, snakes. So they would hire me sometimes to walk around with a snake at a club and such. So, it was back in the 90s. So, you got paid a nominal amount and then free drinks. So it was like fun, and you're getting to meet all these interesting people and kind of get paid a little bit to do it, and and have fun and just kind of build a name.
Yeah.
And get known. Like, I mean, I was like the rat lady of Chicago. It was, and it all stemmed from this whole idea that I had, and then the guys walking in that pet store. What are the chances of that happening? I'm there. I get the movie job. I quit my job without hesitation, and bam, it just snowballs into all of these things.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
very
yeah.
exciting.
Look, if anybody knows the rat world, I know it and love it. I know it and love it. I'm a rat, and I'm a rat at heart. I got the heart of a large rat, probably, and that's normal, I think.